In the next two videos, we're going to put together this double-page spread on the Wat Umong temple complex in Chiang Mai. In the Thai language, Wat means temple and Umong means tunnel. The Wat Umong temple complex in Chiang Mai is made up of a series of underground tunnels. The Wat Umong temple complex was established in about 1296, and it is believed that the tunnels were built on the king's instruction at that time. The king had a cherished monk who had gone senile in his older years and would often get lost in the temple gardens, and the tunnels were created as a safe space for him. There is a very impressive Chatty that is located in the grassy area above the tunnel complex. You will often see people walking in circles around the base of the Chatty in prayer and meditation. The temple grounds are really big, and as you walk around you'll get struck by beautiful things like the signs on the trees, as well as small sculptures and statues. My favorite area of the whole temple complex is the Buddha garden. It is made up of numerous relics and sculptures that have been salvaged from other Wats around Chiang Mai. So it is from all of these photographs that I have selected 3 images that I think encompass the full Wat Umong experience, and it's from these that I'm going to create a double-page spread in my journal. Supplies for today include a palette for mixing, a Lamy fountain pen, Pigma Micron permanent liner pens in 0.5 and 0.8 size, a 4B pencil, a white gel pen for highlights, a size 6 travel brush, eraser, paper clip, spray bottle, water jar, and then I've got my travel palette of paints and tissue paper. This is my size 6 Skoda travel brush that I really like using when I'm on the move. It has a case which unclips and becomes the handle of the brush, and then it easily unclips and closes to protect the bristles when you're finished. This is a tin of my Daniel Smith travel colors. I've chosen 15 of my most favorite colors. I've put them in the tin, and there is a swatch card of the colors inside the lid. The fountain pen I'm going to use today is my Lamy Alex fountain pen in a rose gold color. It's fitted with a fine point nib. I really enjoy these Lamy pens because they are so easy to use and also very easy to refill using the cartridge that is supplied. You can easily pull it out and then use the twisting plunger, that is the red knob at the top, to rotate it either clockwise or counterclockwise to empty and refill the ink, and then clip it back into the pen. I am going to jump straight into the ink work on this first sketch of the Buddha head in the Buddha garden. I haven't videoed the pencil sketching phase of this because I think that the pencil doesn't come out very clearly on video. I have provided the downloadable and traceable sketch if you are wanting to trace it and then follow on in ink. If you would like to sketch the whole thing in pencil yourself, then follow along with me in pencil as I'm doing the ink work here. Just do the same thing in pencil and then go over it again in ink when you're done. As I'm working with my fountain pen, I'm paying special attention to trying to work with holding the pen very lightly between my fingers, and also to work with a loose wrist. This ensures that there's a bit of spontaneity to the lines that I sketch, and also that the lines are not too rigid and solid. I also concentrate on not drawing too many long continuous lines, but rather to break up the longer lines into lines that are slightly shorter. My favorite time of the day to visit the Wat Umong temple complex is just before sunset. I think that there is a beautiful light that comes through the trees, as you can see in this photograph. During rainy season, there is also a lot more green moss on the statues and rocks, as you can see here. The things do dry out a little bit during the dry season and not quite as atmospheric as this. I also make sure each time that I go that I take a bag of bread or some fish food, as I like to feed the countless fish and terrapins that live in the lake at the complex. I'm going to erase my pencil lines and then get my paint palettes ready. I've got my travel brush, and then I'm just going to moisten the paints with a spray bottle. I will start by preparing some mixtures of sap green and undersea green, as well as some sepia and indigo. I'm now going to work over the Buddha's head, mixing between the colours that I've got on my palette. I will use the photograph as a guide only. I'm going to be more aware of just trying to keep changing up the colours so that it doesn't end up looking too monotone. I am a little unhappy with the light setting in this short segment of the video. I didn't realise that the settings on my studio lights had set to slightly yellow, but it does rectify to be true colour in the next segment. I will drop in the darker indigo colour into the areas where I can see the shadow, and then I will just keep on dropping in the other colours, green and browns, throughout the statue head. As long as the paint is still at least damp on the head, I am able to drop in additional colours. Once I'm finished the Buddha head, I will use the same palette of colours that I've already prepared to work on the surrounding rock and moss areas. We'll just drop in the browns and the greens throughout. I'm not too concerned about shadows at this stage. I'm just going to get the basic colours down in this first layer. For the tree trunk, I will use a mixture of transparent brown oxide and sepia just to get a little bit of a different brown colour into the sketch. And I'll use some sap green for the foliage. I will move around the earth area and add in sepia in this section. And once I've done that, I'll just add some indigo in places just to put in a bit of shadow in the earth area. When I'm happy with the first layer, I will make sure that I allow it time to dry completely before I come in for a second layer. Okay, so we're back to the colour being true to life, so at least the colours are more realistic here. I have wet my paints down again, and as I go into the second layer now, this is going to be the layer in which I am going to increase contrast. So I'm looking for the areas of the photograph that have got the most shadow, and I'm going to concentrate on those areas. I'm going to leave the lightest areas alone and only work on areas that I think need more contrast. I think that it is this layer, the second layer of adding in additional contrast, that is probably the most valuable lesson that I learnt and was the hardest one to actually achieve as a beginner. We are aware that when we are painting with watercolors that we need to do more than one layer. And I think that the misconception is that when you come in to do additional layers, that you need to revisit every single part of the sketch with your second layer of color. And that is the part that's not exactly true. When you're working in this second layer and you're looking for more contrast, it is imperative that you leave the lightest areas of the sketch alone and that you only concentrate on the areas where you can push it darker. It is getting this larger range of contrast, the biggest range between the lightest lights on your sketch and the darkest darks, that is going to give more impact to the sketch and make it look more realistic at the end. So I'm going to work on the shadow side of the rocks and also on the underside of the tree trunk, adding in the darker browns, indigos and shadow colors just on the sides that I think I can push to be darker. Likewise on the Buddha's head, wherever I can see some more shadow there, I will add some shadow and contrast color into the darkest areas that I can see. I have added some undersea green into the background and I'm doing a final pass over the Buddha's head. I let it dry completely to see if I want to add any additional contrast, but once it's dry, I'm happy with the outcome. I am going to leave it here for now, and in the next video we will complete our double page spread and text with 2 additional sketches from Wat Umong. Until next time, bye for now.